start at the OR Tambo International Airport. A 5.8 million rand incentive bonus has been awarded to Banyana Banyana. The champions landed in Johannesburg this morning following their victory at the Women's Africa Cup of Nations. They were welcomed by crowds of excited supporters singing their praises. We're joined now by sports reporter Hloni Mtimkulu, who is at the airport for us. Hloni, of course, this 5.8 million rand incentive, South Africans have been waiting. In fact, at some point, I saw some of them saying on Twitter that 22 million rand for the flag should go towards Banyana Banyana. But let's speak about the financial inequalities in sports. How, most of the time we hear how women don't get as much incentives as the guys.
Good afternoon, Masoro. Just before we speak about the financial incentives, of course, that's been a big theme of this afternoon's or this morning's gathering. I do have a guest with me, one of the players. I mean, this Women's AFCON has had story after story, and one of them is, of course, that of 18-year-old Thabiseng Majia, who plays not internationally and not even for one of the bigger teams in the SAFA National Women's League, but for Richmond United Ladies, all the way in the Northern Cape. And you scored your first goal for Banyana Banyana at senior level, right, against Botswana. Tell us how that felt.
It felt excited because the goal was to qualify for the quarterfinals. So I was like, I have to be prepared. Anything may happen. So when I go in, I know I have to do my job.
And I know just before the tournament, we spoke to you about what you could learn as an 18-year-old up against all these other players. Tell us about what that experience has been like for you.
Yeah, to be successful, to have respect, work hard, be who you want to be, and also the hard work that you have to keep in will help you one day.
And you've got a lot of supporters out here. I know people have been trying to grab you and to get photos and everything like all of this.
No, I didn't expect all of this because I know I'm not a big player, so I didn't expect all of this.
At 18, you already have a senior goal for Banyana Banyana, and you are going to the World Cup. So who knows, you might be an even bigger player than you are right now, right? Thank you so much, Thabiseng. So yeah, Masoro, that was Thabiseng Majia, who is the youngest player in the squad that was at AFCON in Morocco. But just on the financial incentives, it has been a very big talking point for the team, not just because of this tournament, but because we know that in previous tournaments they haven't been paid. We know that also, there is a semi-professional league, which is something we have been talking about all morning, and we know that there have been issues with paying the players for previous tournaments as well. So we're hoping that this is just the start of something big and things big for the for the women rather. And that's not just for today, not just all the talk that we heard today, because we have heard all this talk before. We have heard talk about taking women's football seriously and taking what happens at these tournaments seriously, but we don't see that things working out usually. So we hope that things will happen. I mean, the National Women's League that now has a sponsor, it took years and years and years for that league to finally get going. We've spoken to a number of players who themselves were promised that league 10, 15, 20 years ago. So to finally have that league kicking off 3 years ago means, obviously that finally, people in power are seeing that it is important to take women's sports seriously, women's football seriously, and not just speak it. So we do hope that today's financial incentives and financial promises are the start of big things and good things for women's football in the country, Masafo.
And just lastly, Hloni, in terms of, the program for the rest of the day, I see there's still supporters at OR Tambo International Airport. And of course, you were speaking to Thabiseng right now. It means the players are also still there. So what's the plan for the remainder of the day, besides them having to prepare for tomorrow, taking the cup to the Union buildings?
Yeah, I think after this, when all of this clears, because we've got lots of friends and family that are in this tent with us, once this clears, when it does eventually clear, I think that today will just be kind of taking it easy and celebrating with their family, celebrating with their friends. I mean, we saw the family of Lufile Jane earlier today. We've seen the family of Amokalang Mutawu as well. We see on my left is Nokolo Katane. She's here. I think her family's in the Western Cape, but maybe they are here as well, because we didn't expect that Bambanani Mbane's mom, the centre back, her mom is here as well, all the way from the Eastern Cape, you know. So you can imagine other families are here, and it's a good time and a good reunion for players with their families that they haven't seen for more than a month now, I think, because there was also the camp before the 3-week tournament got underway, you know. So there will be good times to reunite with family and friends before tomorrow's festivities with the presidents do get going as well. Masako.
All right, ENCA's sports reporter Hloni Mthimkhulu joining us live from the OR Tambo International Airport, where of course South Africa went there to welcome our African champions, Banyana Banyana.